Okay, so welcome to another session of GitBook training with lovely people from Treasury Guild and Peter from various hats and locations.
Yep.
And and today we're going to look at how to edit a GitBook. And so first, if we sorted out our links, you should use the first place you should go to is a team library or a space. Sorry, this is an organization, I think it's called, not a space. These are spaces here. So each organization or team library is an account, is a GitBook account. Okay, so that's what you're paying for whatever it is per month. And then within each organization, you can have multiple GitBooks. So in this organization, we have a community advisor hub one, which is not being used, maybe deleted actually. A Catalyst coordinator hub, which was funded and is being used actively, and something we're going to look at today, which is the Circle Admin Playbook. So what you would do is go along there, you'd click on that, and that opens up the edit view of the Circle Admin Playbook. So here it's exactly the same as the live version, but you have edit here. Public is whether the Git, it's going to take you a while to come up for some reason, is the status of the GitBook, if it's public, unlisted, unpublished, and what links it has here. And you also have domain settings. This is blanked out a bit for some reason, where you can change the slug, the root slug of the GitBook to make a different slug, or use a custom domain as well. So if you want to edit something, this is the across here.
What's a slug? Sorry.
A slug is a URL.
Okay.
It's an intelligent URL. It's a URL where it's descriptive. So if you notice a lot of the GitBook links, it'll tell you, like March, it'll give you a description of the location.
Like goes into where it's like which in the file tree it's linked.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a helpful, it's an intelligent URL, really. That's why I think of it. I'll go across the top here. There's access, which is team membership. And here there's a group called Catalyst Circle, which is inherited. Hopefully that was, well, for the moment, I think it doesn't seem to be working properly today, but it should be everyone who has access to the Catalyst Circle account. But you can add people individually here as well as readers or administrators, creators, and editors. Then there's change requests are a record of what's been changed, so that there's nothing here because there hasn't been anything changed recently. History is a history of what's been created in this space and a change history. Customize is for the general look and feel of I don't really play with this very often, but it's like the title of the GitBook, the localization of the interface, what language it is, custom logo. I think you have to pay for some of this, so that's why I don't use it very much. You can change the theming, so you can actually, I'm very lazy, so I don't bother, but you can actually change a lot of the colors of the fonts. You can change the styles of the fonts and play around with that if you want to be a bit more creative than I am. I'm such a boring person. So let's go back.
Text.
Just
Markdown.
What do you mean? You want more than plain text? Yeah. Yeah. Now, funny, there is a kind of discussions thing, but I think you have to pay for this. But it's quite interesting. I think it's a premium account, but it does allow you to comment and discuss as a team the content. So maybe that's something we can look at in the future, if we have a budget for that. Files are,
especially if you can get it at an enterprise level.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit
like that.
It's a bit like Zoom account. Yeah.
Not like per user,
Yeah.
Or at least at a higher scale of users. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
And then you have sorry, you have a files tab, and files tab are, you know, where you want to insert an image or a file or an embedded file. That's where you see a list of stuff that you've uploaded. Insights, I haven't really used this much, but I think it's traffic. Well, it's traffic. So I suppose that's quite useful for seeing if anyone's going to come and see your GitBook, or whether it's very sad and no one does come and see it.
Yeah.
So then,
Are you pulling those analytics, Andre, yet? Can you do that?
I can't bear to look at them.
He says, all that work, no one looks.
It actually is. I mean, even the busiest sites like Swarm only attract, they don't attract that many people. We've got a lot of work to do into attracting people.
Yeah, everyone's very surface level around here yet.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's only, I think the Catalyst Swarm GitBook only had 200 unique users over the whole year last year. But you get the impression it's hundreds of people. And that's quite good, so we need to get a lot better. Over here, you can export this whole thing as a PDF, which is okay. It does export as a PDF. I'm not sure how useful that is. Maybe it will be useful if you're doing drafts and stuff like that. But then what else do you have here? You have to the right of this edit button, you have a little ... And that has synchronized with Git, which actually goes back to that synchronization setup, Peter. So you'd only use that if you've lost a connection with the backend repository. But look at the introduction video I sent to you earlier, and that will give you some context for that. So most of the time you're in here and you just do edit. Okay, because you want to change the content, you want to add text. Okay, so you go to edit, that creates a new change request, and now you're in a kind of edit mode. It's a bit slow sometimes. And then you can go here and you see that it starts to change these little icons here. So you can go here and you can add content here. Okay, so literally that's text content. And then you've got other options are paragraph, headings, and then an ordered list. You have a hint. I'll show you all these quotes, code blocks, insert files. So insert files, insert images, embedded URL, tables. I haven't really used tabs. Yeah, I don't really use those, but I suppose you could do that. You could use LaTeX type stuff, mathematics. I think you can do basic API calls, which could be quite interesting if you want to bring up wallet addresses and stuff. Open API, YouTube, it can be embedded, SoundCloud, Calc, and all these can be embedded. Some of them are more useful than others. The ones we tend to use and are interesting are Google Docs, Sheets, slides, like town hall slides. Google Forms is interesting because you could embed a form to get feedback form in your GitBook if you wanted to, that kind of thing. The other thing that people use a lot is YouTube. And the other thing I use a lot is insert images. So if you go to images, this will bring up this thing here. You have stock images, but then you normally just upload your own image, something like, I'll just take anything here. And that will load it here. Sometimes it takes longer to load, depending on your connection, time of day, star sign. And then it goes like, there you go, it's embedded it there. That's an image. And then you can put a caption in the image like this. So this is quite nice. So you can play around with this to make a kind of design to make it look better, because in its default it's just plain text, even though I don't understand why we can't do plain text. But yeah, you can make it like look nice. Your problem is. Text files. You just need text files. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, but so another thing to improve the look I use is, well, each of these are headings. So if you go to, let's say 1, 2, and 3. And this is quite important because in terms of how you're laying things out. So if you had heading 1, and then you have level 2 and level 3. Okay. Now 1 would appear here on the right hand side, and 2, but 3 does not appear. But it's useful if you want to build up a kind of, if we do that again, let's say that's a heading 1. See on the right hand side over here, that's how you can build up a menu, a logical menu. So again, I would recommend trying not to keep an individual page too long otherwise, but you still have a guide here on the right hand side to the content. Just delete all that. Another thing, a trick I use to break it up a bit is to use hints. So I don't know why they call them that, but it just makes a difference. So if you have something you want to draw attention to, and then you also change that to these different symbols, you see, like information, and it just breaks it up a bit. If you want to, adds a bit of novelty.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Tables. Now this is useful for if you, let's say you're having the information that you want to present in a tabular way. Like we use it for people who've attended meetings, confirmations of people who've done things, financial information, that kind of thing. So that would be table. Now, if you go beyond 3 columns, it kind of cuts it off. So I would tend to try and use this for 3 column data. So let's say you can change rename these here. So that'll be title 1 kind of thing. And then you can put in or numbers or whatever you want to put in there. Okay. So that can be a nice little presentation of, use your imagination to what you could use there. Okay. Delete that. Okay.
There's you can, if you click on the column, I think you can choose a drop down as well. You can make a drop down.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Let's try that. Table. Change type, change alignment, rename column. Or you mean select a column?
Click on the text where it says text, I think. Oh no, it's on the arrow. Sorry.
Yeah. I think you can just center and change the font. It looks like there. Okay.
No, you can make it.
You can make it also drop menu.
Is that?
Click on the arrow. Sorry, not on the text. On
there you go.
Arrow.
And select.
It's the select.
Yes.
What about arrow?
You were just there. Shit. Where was it on the text? No.
On letter T now.
Yes.
And on select.
Yes.
Select. Small one. Yes.
That's really well hidden. Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something.
Small window of select.
Then
Small window of select. There you will have. Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit. My screen's a bit high. Let's try that again. Okay. Wow. That's really hidden.
It's hidden.
Yeah.
Hidden.
That's bizarre. Adds an option. That's interesting. Oh, I see. Oh, so you can add multiple options. Okay.
Yes.
That's really interesting. Okay. I
Yes,
have to play with that later.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's just a basic overview. You can obviously dig deeper in that. There's different things you can try out. I'll just delete. Oh, let's just take that up. If you click on an image, it'll then come up like that. But let's just delete that. And that. Okay. Well, actually, what I'll do now, if you add some content, when you've added some content, you then click on the merge button to merge the content in. then syncs here with your backend repository, which can take some time or not, or be very quick. That's synced. That means it's synced to the backend repository, and it's now live. So if you go to public and get the link there, paste that there, that'll be live. Add, you know, and there's our content that we've added. Yeah, by the way, there's the link and domain settings. So you can change the name of the slug or the URL here, and you can connect a custom domain. Now going over to the left-hand side here, this is another thing of how you logically lay out your GitBook. So go to edit again, and you have new page. But if you click on new page, you have new group as well, and then new link and import new pages. But that's a group. These are groups, and these are pages. So obviously you're going to want to think about how you're logically laying out everything. So you create a new group. That will be, you know, when you click on that, it'll create a group title and a page, default page under that. If you want to rename the group, you just click on the 2 arrows and rename it, and then that'll come up with like section name, whatever you want to call it. And you see the slug, that is.
Yeah. Okay. I see that now.
And then underneath that will be the page, new page. And that's where you're going to add your pages. So you can obviously do, let's merge that. So that's synced. It has synced. Let's check it synced. Sometimes I go to the live version to check, sometimes it lags. So let's just check. Yeah, it has added it here. Okay, and then obviously you can then add multiple pages under there. And also another thing you can do is, if you don't like this order, go to edit. Just wait for that. And then click on here and hold down, and then you can bring it up to a different place. And then that'll reorder it. Okay. So obviously that's how you're going to lay out your book. Then you can delete that by going to just delete, and that deletes the. If it has no pages under it, it'll delete the section as well. And just merge that. Let's merge again. With the playbook, because we have the playbook as a Word document, don't we, Peter? And I actually created a link to it here in this GitBook. So this is the Google Doc for our playbook in Circle Admin. And I thought one way we could manage this, each section has an owner, or we could say that each section has an owner. I think we started to do this, like Peter, admin team, Norrie, facilitator. And what I thought we could do, and this is up to you as well, Miroslav for treasury, Andre for treasury, all that kind of thing. We could mirror that here by saying each of these has an owner, a section owner, by using that here. So each section owned by, that kind of thing. So once we know the GitBook, instead of doing the Word document, you would say this is owned by edit.
Yeah, the facilitators or whatever.
Yeah, so you go there. Let's say that's owned by Peter. And you can create a change record. So you could say, merge that. Then you could go to that and say, okay, Peter updated that, you know, whatever. And that would give us a way to collaboratively build up the GitBook. Just an idea I had, and you can do it some different way. But so that's really, is there any questions or anything else? Yeah, go on.
Steven, I have one question, please.
Yeah.
So did you just copy paste from this Google Sheet form, or you did with this introduction link some?
You can cut and paste. So I'll demonstrate that. Let's go back to here and okay, let's just take some random text. It doesn't really matter. Let's say take that. Okay. And then Control C, like copy. If you want to edit, so go to edit. I'll create a new page. That's a blank page. Okay. Make sure in edit, click there, and then paste. Okay. Obviously, you're going to have to pay attention to formatting. Okay, so it won't always be as tidy as that. So let's if you select that. I'm not sure that has an option for. You might not. Let's say you didn't want it to be bullet points or something like that. It'd go like you'd have to play around with this. So yeah, you don't have to retype everything. So you can and you can paste. I've pasted in a lot. You can paste in a lot of content. If you one good approach is, let's say you're drafting something, just draft it as like something without much format, or paste it into Notepad to strip off the formatting, and then paste it into this, and then you have all the content, and then you can format it so you can take things like this and do things like that. So let's say you can quickly then format the things in the kind of this format. So put headings in and that kind of thing. Yeah. And yeah, you can insert YouTube videos. So you can copy a video URL at a certain generally or at a specific time. I sometimes cut things at a specific time. Let's say I want to refer to something that happened in a town hall, at a specific time in the town hall. I would then go to that time, copy that time rather than the URL link. But most of the time, you're just copying the video URL. Go to here, paste it, make sure it's on paragraph actually. So like that, to paste it into, it'll embed it. It may take a while, depending on, there you go. How to set up a GitBook. So we can say, see, and then you can go back to here. You can copy. I mean, you can copy text from here. Put it underneath. You can also have a caption for the video. That, whatever. Okay. And then you can merge that in. So and that will be live here. So there you go. So that's how it looks live. So I'll just delete all that. Let's go edit. It's quite simple to delete things as well. You can either go here and do delete, or even simply you can just press. I think you just press delete on the keyboard like that, as well. Okay, if you have a Google form. Okay, again, I think that would just be pasting the URL in. And this could be quite nice for some things if you're designing a form. You submit the form from here. Form submitted. Okay. I haven't really been using this enough. I need to think, because if you're doing feedback forms or registration forms, maybe we could use that. What else? Slides. So again, it's, if I do a town hall slide, I make sure it's, to view. copy the link. And again, simple as pasting it in, enter. Okay. And then the one tip with slides, I don't know why it's really annoying, is that if you click on this, it doesn't take you to this slide, it takes you to all the slides that you have. So I sometimes do this, link to slides. So I make sure that there's a direct link to the slide here. Okay, so that, because if I'll show you why. Thinking. If I click on that, it just takes me to this to show you, which is useless. I don't want that. So what, but if I click on that, then that's taking me to the slide, the actual place I want to go. It seems, I don't know what that is. I think that's a bug or something. But you can actually go through the slides here as well. So. Delete that. Delete that. Okay, merge. Anything else? I think that's it. Unless you've got any other questions or. Thoughts.
I think that was helpful to get walked around it, all the features like that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Actually, GitBook is much more easier than GitHub.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's 100% true, and that's why before we started recording, yeah, it was the linking the two is the hard part. This makes sense, like, yeah, this fairly intuitive.
For the sake of the recording, I'll wrap up here. So
Yeah.
that's the end of the demonstration.